Hello, it's 8 o'clock and welcome to Facebook Live. I'm going to hang around a few minutes, see if anybody jumps on before we actually get into the content tonight. I think it's probably going to be a fairly quiet night because this is my only my second Facebook Live. So I'll give it just about a minute and then we'll get on with the show. Just waiting for people to come on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start anyway, and then if people do jump onto the live, we can see them as and when they come on. So I'm Paul. I help people get sober, stay sober, and take back control of their lives. Tonight, what I want to talk about is why people find it so hard to transition from being a drinker to being a non-drinker. And I think there are three main things, and it's probably not what you think it is. So, excuse me for looking down, I've got some notes. I believe there are three really important things that you need to have in place and understand before you can actually think about becoming a non-drinker. The first one is a reason why you started drinking. Getting used to the fact that change is going to happen. And the third one, possibly the most important one, is a compelling reason to change, a compelling reason why you want to make the change from being a drinker to a non-drinker. So the first one, why did you start drinking? This is fundamental because if you can't get a grip on this, you are going to have a really hard time coming to grips with all of the things that might happen, but not necessarily happen once you actually stop drinking. So what am I talking about? Most of us start off drinking somewhere from the age of 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then onwards. And it starts off as being like a social kind of drinking thing where you go out with your friends of a Saturday night or Friday night, if you had any money, and then you'd have a few beers, go home, that kind of thing. But for some people, it becomes much more than that. For example, if someone has had PTSD or suffers from anxiety, shyness, some kind of chronic pain, that kind of thing, or maybe there is a specific event that sparked off the drinking. Let me give you an example. Say you were abused, or you got beaten up as a teenager or as a young man. That will obviously really throw you completely out of kilter. And what happens is, to protect yourself from that event, to kind of blot out the memories of that event, we start to use drugs or alcohol to sort of put that in the past and try and get rid of it. The problem with this is that it creates lots of other problems associated to the event. Hi Jesse, thanks for joining. And basically it builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up, and the feelings, the sentiments, the emotions never ever go away. But if we figure out what the reason was why we started drinking, then we can actually work on that, take away the pain, the negative associations with that event. Don't forget what happened. We'll still know that whatever happened, but we take away the significance. We reframe the event. I'm not saying we change a negative event to a positive event, but just say, if it's on a scale of 1 to 10 and you're at an 11, what we do is we bring that down to a 1 or a 0 so that the emotion is no longer attached to the event. And this then means that you take back control of the situation. And you can do this by yourself. You can do with different kinds of therapies. It actually helps. My pleasure. So that's the first thing. Second thing is change. Change is scary for a lot of people. I mean, think about it. We generally eat the same foods on the same day of the week. We'll wear the same kind of clothes to work. We'll wear the same kind of clothes at the weekend. Friday night will be the start of the weekend, so we'll have the same kind of meal, the same kind of drink. We go to the same vacations. We have the same friends. We like stability. We don't like change, because change kind of indicates something possibly negative, something that's taking us out of our comfort zone. And, in a sense, stability equals stagnation. You stop learning, you stop growing, you stop developing. Let me give you an example. I worked with a potential client. This was last year. And we did the strategy call. We agreed that there was a lot of work to be done, that I could help, and we'd be able to work together. We were a good fit. We set an appointment to start the treatment. And then on the day of the book session, I made the call, no answer. I called again, no answer. And going back a second, this client, and actually said she lived by her calendar, she had on a wall, and all her meetings and appointments and birthdays were on this calendar, and she never, ever, ever, ever forgot anything on this calendar. So I eventually got hold of her a couple of days later, and she went, "I'm really sorry, Paul, I forgot. This is a lady that lives by the calendar, and she'd written it on the calendar." So I always give a person the benefit of the doubt one time. So I said, okay, not a problem. Let's book the appointment for a week from now. And learning from my experience of the first time, no show, I rang her the night before the appointment just to confirm that she'd be ready for the next day. Guess what? She said, "I'm sorry, Paul, I'm really ill. I'm not feeling good. This has happened, that has happened, the other has happened. I was going to ring you." She wasn't. Basically, what's happened here is her fear of change, she became scared of the fact that, who will I become without this problem? Will people recognize me? Because you think about it, a lot of people go around and go, "Hi, my name is Paul, I've got anxiety. Hi, my name's Susan, I'm an alcoholic. Hi, I've got OCD. Hi, I've got this, I've got that." We take the problem that we have and we associate ourselves with that problem. We become that problem. So when somebody like me comes along and goes, "Hey, that problem's making a mess of your life, we can get rid of it for you," initially the thinking brain goes, yeah, that's a great idea. But what happens is the subconscious, the bit inside that we don't have much control over, goes, no, we don't like change, remember, that could make us a different person. We need to stay as we are, so just tell this guy to go jump off a bridge and we'll go do something else. We need to stay as we are. So that's the second reason. You need to accept the fact that you're gonna have to change. And actually going from a drinker to a non-drinker is a brilliant change to make. You will learn and grow, and you notice so many amazing changes when you quit. Yeah. So that's the second thing. Third reason, you've got to have a compelling reason to change. What do I mean by that? Okay, as you may know, or I may have spoken to already, I do a lot of research. I talk to a lot of people that are trying to quit drinking, are going through the process of quit drinking for a long time. And I ask some questions related to the topic. And I spoke to a couple last week it was, and they said to me, "Look, we're in, day 21, day 22, and we've just gone cold turkey." And I said, "Wow, that's brilliant. What happened?" And basically they'd been to their doctor, they'd had some blood work done, a liver panel, and the husband had some diabetes problems, and they'd gone back to the doctor after the results had been done. And he said, basically, "Guys, you've got some major issues. You're both going to be in a serious situation very, very quickly unless you make some changes. Quit drinking, watch what you're eating." And that was their compelling reason. They had kids, they had grandkids, they had a thriving business. They didn't want to lose that, didn't want to give that up. So that became their compelling reason. A friend of mine, again, last year became a client, and she had been a binge drinker for 20 years. And what I mean by that was she didn't drink during the week, but on a Saturday, she would literally drink a bath full of alcohol. We're talking a big carton of maybe, I don't know, 12 to 24 cases of tins of lager, excuse me. She would drink a couple of bottles of wine, then she'd go and see family, have some wine with the family, with her parents. And then that evening, she'd go out to a local pub and watch a live band with friends, and then have a bunch of more alcohol. The problem with this was that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, sometimes even Wednesday and Thursday, she was out for the count, completely unable to function, just lying in the bed feeling really, really dreadful and miserable. So she said to me, Paul, this has got to stop. I want to make a change. And her compelling reason was she wanted to leave the work she was doing. She wanted to make a complete lifestyle overhaul, and she wanted to get qualified as a personal trainer. She wanted to set up a health and fitness blog. She really wanted to make some radical changes. But obviously, health and fitness blog, personal trainer, binge drinking don't go together. So that was her compelling reason. So we did the work, and literally overnight, she said to me before the third session, she said, Paul, last night I went out and, poured a glass of red wine at my parents' house and looked at it, took a tiny little sip, didn't enjoy it, didn't want it, threw it away. She has not had a drink since. No cravings, no withdrawal, nothing. And she's passed her PT training now. She's got this blog up and running. She's doing absolutely phenomenally because she had a compelling reason. So you need to find that compelling reason. I've got a few comments coming here. Sorry, I had to hook up with a louder speaker. I want to hear you. Thank you, Jesse. Hi, Tunde. Hope you can hear me, guys. This will obviously, you might have missed the beginning, but once I've finished, it will be there for you to watch at your leisure. So let's just recap. 3 reasons that you need, or 3 things you need to consider before you stop drinking, or whilst you're in that process of going from being a drinker to being a non-drinker. 3 really important things you need to consider. The first one is you need to figure out why you started drinking. Why did it get out of control? Why did you go from a social drink, maybe 1 or 2 drinks a night or every few nights, if that, to drinking, 1 bottle, 2 bottles of wine, or whatever it is that was too much for you. Once you figure that out, then you need to change the associations with that, for that event, as it were. Secondly, you've got to get used to change. Change is good. You grow, you learn, you develop, you become a much different person when you quit. Yeah, it is really good. And people like that. There's lots of likes going on here. Fantastic. So that's second one. And third one, and maybe the most important one, is you definitely need a compelling reason to change. That is so important. If you just think, well, yeah, I know I should kind of stop drinking because the doctor said, or yeah, my friend across the road, she's stopping drinking, or maybe, yeah, I've seen it on TV. Those aren't, they're not compelling reasons. You need something that's going to make you go, oh shit, I really need to make a change. Now, if you haven't got a compelling reason, I'll give you one. If you've got kids, if you've got grandkids, it is scientifically proven that if you're a heavy drinker, or if you're just a drinker and you've got kids, they are very much at risk of becoming heavy drinkers as well. And that's not your kids, the kids across the street, not the bad kids down the road. Yeah, this is your kids. Your kids will be the ones that they're 14, 15, 16, will be sneaking in booze and starting to get drunk. Yeah. So if that's not a compelling reason, I don't know what is. Your health as well. Your liver is very susceptible to damage through alcohol. Yeah. And there was some research being done recently in the United States. The number of people suffering and dying from liver failure is going through the roof, literally going through the roof. Yeah. And as you probably know, there aren't that many people around that will give transplants when they've passed away. So taking care of your liver is critical. So that's 2 compelling reasons that I've just given you. That's it for tonight. I want to keep these things to, just under half an hour. 15, 20 minutes or so. So I've been going 15 minutes. A couple of things before I go. I'm going to be doing these every day. So I've got some ideas of what I would like to talk about, but if you've got some questions or subjects that you'd like me to cover, please, leave a comment here or send me a PM, whichever is more convenient for you. And the second thing is, if you wouldn't mind, please share these videos, share my posts, because there's a lot of people out there that aren't aware of this information. Maybe you've got friends, work colleagues, family, people that are close to you that need to hear this, yeah? So again, if you're a bit shy about sharing this stuff on your page, I completely understand, but maybe, PM a friend, send them the link, discreetly, that kind of thing. It would really, really help, and I'd appreciate it. So thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Tunde. I hope I said that properly. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye now.